Disclaimer. This content is published by Global Miranda Miner Group, LLC, FZ, a Dubai-based entity. All information is for educational and informational purposes only and does not constitute financial advice or investment solicitation. Crypto trading involves substantial risk and may not be suitable for all individuals. Always do your own research. This material is not intended to market, offer, or promote securities or financial products to residents of the Philippines in compliance with the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, of the Philippines.
This is the Global Miranda Miner Group, our home of the culture of malasakit. This is the Global Miranda Miner Group, our home of the culture of malasakit. Subscribe, like, follow, and share. Sige na please, Miranda. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce to you the one and only, the voice that introduced, pitikin kita sa ilong, isang hampas na lang ng palakol, the power of yet. Please, let's give it up to our pambansang crypto coach, Coach Miranda Miner.
Hello, Miranda. Hello. And this is Coach Miranda Miner, and welcome to another edition of our cryptocurrency technical analysis, fundamentals, exclusive interviews, and everything about crypto all in one channel. Our topic for today is very interesting and very timely. We have, the industry experts, as what you have been seeing in my past couple of shows. We've been inviting multiple industry leaders from different exchanges, projects, etc. And there's no other time than today that requires us to have a guest within that industry leader level. Obviously, Bitcoin is reeling at $81,000 today. And based on our show for the past couple of days, we have mentioned that we're seeing a little bit of correlation from that nosedive on the markets, including some of those famous indices like NASDAQ, the tech stocks, etc. We've been seeing valuation levels, perception-wise by industry experts as crazy. They felt that we're in a bubble, and obviously the market, in this particular case, crypto, is actually the ones getting that consequence. Not just on the price perspective, because obviously Bitcoin is currently at $81,000, $82,000 level today, but also the market capitalization is currently down. We actually shaved off almost $1 trillion out of our market crypto capitalization just only for a month. So what does this mean? What does this tell you, as holders of assets and tokens? What does this tell you? We're going to be having answers on that from a CEO of a global exchange. So if you're new to my channel, don't forget to click on like, subscribe, and of course follow Coach Miranda for everything about crypto all in one channel.
You are listening to Coach Miranda Miner in his daily crypto live.
All right, without further ado, let me introduce to you my guest for tonight, an industry heavyweight. He's actually an Argentinian entrepreneur and angel investor, a co-founder and CEO of Roxom, the world's first Bitcoin capital market, and co-founder of Roxom TV, the premier 24/7 Bitcoin and crypto news network. He previously co-founded Lemon Cash, Latin America's leading crypto bank with almost 2 million plus users, were amongst other things, and he led and secured almost $45 million in funding. Wow. Bitcoin evangelist, angel investor, and global speaker, passionate about the intersection of finance, technology, and sustainability. A former global shaper, World Economic Forum, G20, YEA, and B20 delegate, and Draper University ambassador. The last one I also like. He summited, I want to ask this about him, summited Mount Kilimanjaro because the greatest heights, like the most ambitious ventures, are meant to be conquered. Wow. Woo! I think the only highest peak I've ever done was like the third floor of our house. I'm kidding. So without further ado, it's a pleasure for me to have my guest for tonight, my good friend Borja. How are you, sir?
Hey, Miranda, ¿cómo está? How are you, man?
Very nice. That's a Filipino word out there. Hello, hello to you there. Before we start, one thing that caught my attention: Mount Kilimanjaro. Wow, have you always been a mountaineer?
I mean, I've always gone to the mountains, yeah, and I've always spent a lot of time there. The Kilimanjaro thing was by accident, though. A friend of mine invited me last minute, and I decided to go, so I did go, but it wasn't a planned trip. But it was an amazing one, and most definitely a life-changing experience. So
I'm
I'm
sure.
glad that I was there.
Yeah. Do you get to see are you on top of the clouds on that level, or I'm not familiar?
Yes, actually, yes. Actually, clouds were below us, and actually, we would see airplanes flying below us. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah,
Wow.
it was amazing being in the highest peak in Africa and one of the tallest in the world. So, yeah, it was an amazing experience. Everybody should, if you can, you should do it.
Nice. Very nice. Thanks for that sharing, because well, just to share, one of the highest peak that I've ever done was the skydiving in Dubai, and that's it. I was like, I'll never do it again. Like throwing you with all the elements, without anything but the harness with your instructor. Interesting. Yeah. So, Borja, if you don't mind, I know you know, you're a very busy man. You're in that top of Roxom. Talk to us, to kind of introduce you to the community that we have all over the world. Um, what do what's your background in crypto? How long have you been in crypto, and how did you find yourself in this awesome space?
Yeah, of course. So I was fortunate enough. I'm 28 right now, Miranda. I was lucky enough to meet Bitcoin through one of my best friends when I was 14 years old back in 2011. Bitcoin was only $20, and as we were these teenagers, yeah, adolescents, we would mine Bitcoin, and approximately we could mine like one Bitcoin per week, per month. Sorry. Um, and this is how our journey with Bitcoin started, and then actually. We mined for a couple of years. Then it wasn't possible to mine anymore because of the ASIC miners and so on. But we kept in touch with Bitcoin and the Bitcoin industry. And then, well, in 2019, 2020, I started what ended up being Lemon, which is one of the largest crypto apps and Bitcoin apps in Latin America and in Argentina. Eh, and uh, and my purpose there was like to onboard as many people as possible into Bitcoin first, and then of course crypto as well, but mainly into Bitcoin. So that was like the first part of my life, and right now I'm in the part of my life where we're building a Bitcoin world. So the first chapter, the first movie was giving accessibility to Bitcoin. This second movie, the sequel is building a Bitcoin world, actually.
That's nice. And you said you've been in this space since like the white paper was released. Just quick question for you. How do you find the reception of the people you speak with about Bitcoin 2011 compared to today? Is there a difference? Do we still see people doubting Bitcoin? What do you see in the market today?
Um, I would say that it's the same, and it's nothing like it. For those funnily enough, you get plenty of reactions. Same reaction today that people would give you in 20. I didn't start talking about Bitcoin in 2011. I would say that I started talking about Bitcoin to people in 2013, 2014, because
Okay.
in 2011 I was just 14, and it was
But the,
just.
the price in 2013 was like less than $1,000, isn't it? It's
Yes,
still
yes, no, it was nothing. It was
low. Yeah. Yeah.
and but I did start speaking about Bitcoin with other friends and other people in 2013 and 2014, and then onwards. And like, funnily enough, again, the reaction was for the people who didn't like it. The reaction was very similar. Like, what is that? Is that hacker currency? What is the backing? It just looks like internet money. Like, why do like, and all of these kind of comments. So that hasn't changed for the non-believers. What has changed a lot is that now the US has got a Bitcoin treasury,
That's right.
a Bitcoin reserve, sorry. Donald Trump has got a bunch of Bitcoin, and many sovereign funds around the world have a bunch of Bitcoin. So the only thing that has changed about the people who don't believe in Bitcoin is that at least they don't believe that you are a insane fool. Like, at least you're like, oh, okay, like, at least now sovereign funds and presidents have it. So it's like, oh, okay, like, I don't like it. What, same questions, like, what is it backed by, etc., etc. But at least they don't take you for a schizophrenic fool, basically.
Do you have friends who came back to you current modern this day and said, "Oh, I should have believed you in 2015"? Do you have them, and a lot
In
of them for sure.
I have all the people who know me. They all tell me, "Oh man, you were so right. Like, this is incredible." And I can divide the group of people I know into two. The ones who said, like, "God bless, I heard you and I bought some," and then you have the group of people that are like, "I should have listened, man. I'm like so fucking angry and sorry I didn't."
You know what? I like that way of framing of our minds, because I mean, frankly, 2025 can still be, a year where we can say it's still early, isn't it? Right. So I mean, if you tell Bitcoin to someone this 2025, perhaps 2035 could be a different conversation altogether, right? Bitcoin can potentially further skyrocket a bit. I mean, there's a lot of factors behind it, but then again, there's this thing that our community always believes. There are times you just gotta buy at the top and then eventually go right towards the price if you really believe in the coin. And
Yeah.
just in that question, right? So, um, you said about with US using Bitcoin as a reserve, right? Um, let's being sensitive on the price of Bitcoin, $81,000 today. Bitcoin is becoming correlated in terms of movements of some speculative assets. How do you define the current state of Bitcoin today as compared to traditional markets focusing on institutions? So do you start to see institutions now adding Bitcoin, and you have XRP being approved most recently, and then Solana? Do you see some institutional money coming in at this point, or they started probably years ago? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, most definitely. Look, this year has been the institutional year, and actually, it's quite interesting because one of the theses that we have within our team is that what we are seeing right now is Bitcoin is switching hands from retail into institutional buyers. So I've always had a theory of like just a way to analyze the market, which is like follow the money, who's the buyer. And I believe that in 2017 it was like a mini internet revolution. I think that in 2020 you actually had the like first wave of like crypto hedge funds and so on that ended up, many of them ended up blowing up. But it became a little bit more institutional. And then today it's super institutional. You have like BlackRock, you have Wall Street in, you have presidents, you have sovereign funds, you have strategic reserves from countries. So if you do this exercise of following the money, um, then you will notice that this is the institutional year. And actually, from a fundamental perspective, I believe, and my opinion and our opinion within our team, is that this has been by far the best year across Bitcoin's history in terms of fundamentals. ETF, fastest and one of the biggest ETFs already in the world, the fastest growing, fastest to get to 100 billion in net asset value. ETFs all over the world, plenty of capital deploying into Bitcoin, institutional capital. JP Morgan, just capitulating and providing Bitcoin services and so on. Like, from a fundamental perspective, this for us, this has been Bitcoin's best year. Regardless, at this point, we're underwater.
Right, and I mean that's something that, we have a lot of beginner traders who are listening today, and you have been in this space for quite some time. You know that the market can go up and down, up and down. From a market structure perspective, the price can go and make higher highs, and eventually volatility-wise can create drawdowns and higher lows, etc. Right? So on that context, right? So do you agree that there are different parameters that institutions are using in terms of when do they buy crypto? I'm assuming they're not normally influenced by retailers. They have their own They have their own set of risk parameters. I've been seeing some institutions like BlackRock. The whole year of 2024, they keep on buying. They keep on buying, right? So, in terms of institutions being in the space, do you see this as, more money potentially coming in years from now? How many years do you think we should see maturity on this space? Because I think it will take some time. Given your background in traditional finance as well, how long do we normally see these types of maturity in the space, Borja?
Yeah, look, I would say that I will put it this way for you, Coach. So you know how in Bitcoin everybody talks about like, when will actually Bitcoin depeg from TradFi, traditional assets, the economy, and so on? Because when is Bitcoin like, and the official depeg is when Bitcoin is a risk-off asset, like the day that the world is going into a crisis, is going into a meltdown, and the big capital of the world flies onto Bitcoin, like the flight to quality, the flight to safety is onto Bitcoin, then it is when Bitcoin has won. So that is, for us, that is the winning point. Like, whenever we get a major meltdown, picture 1930, 2008, or any of these kind of crises, if people go to and in those crises, it's important to know that cash is king, right? In those moments, it is when, in meltdowns, it is when cash is king. For us, Bitcoin's ultimate victory is when cash is king, means fly to Bitcoin. So where are we right now? And this is how we benchmark and try to understand the cycles and the markets, and what you were saying, like the institutionals, what indicators and so on they may be using. So for us, unfortunately, Bitcoin is not ready yet. Like, we do not see, if there was a major meltdown tomorrow, what I see, even though I would love this not to be the case, but what I see is that the big capital would not fly to Bitcoin if we're getting a meltdown. It will fly to cash. However, I do believe, and I would think that plenty of people agree with me, that this is probably the last time that this happens, that this does not happen. Sorry. So I personally believe, and this is a personal opinion again, but I do think that it's shared across other places and institutions and people, that this could be the last time in which the last market meltdown, bear market, and so on. And I'm not talking about like this deep and so on. I'm talking like every 7 to 15 years, you get like kind of mini or more bigger meltdowns. I believe that eventually there will be the last crisis, global crisis, was in 2008. I do believe that there will be an upcoming crisis at some point. Like we are due for a crisis. It's just cyclic. It cycles that happen. If you read history, you'll see that it happens all the time. And I believe that the next major crisis, meltdown, or bear market that we get, global bear market. I'm talking about all of the assets, not just a Bitcoin going down or whatever. I believe that this is the last time that the flight to quality is not Bitcoin, and this will be the last bear market where cash is king means like just holding dollars. I do believe that the next major global crisis or meltdown and so on, the flight to quality, the flight to safety will be Bitcoin. And why do I say this? So I think that this is the last checkpoint before Bitcoin's victory, long-term victory. Why do I say this? Because number one, big and large institutions, and I'm talking about sovereign funds, sovereign wealth funds, treasuries, large asset managers like BlackRock and so on, losing a couple $1 billion. Nobody wants to lose a couple $1 billion, but it's completely fine. We're talking about institutions and players that have a very long-term view. So it's completely fine if you're down a couple $100 million, a couple dozen billion dollars for something like 1 year, 2 year, 3 years, right? So I believe that the larger the player, the more long-term and strategic the view, meaning that I do think that these players, what they are looking at is at the 10-year time frame, and they are like the largest ones, which are the most important ones, by the way. They are looking at the longer time frame. Then in a shorter time frame, yes, you have like what we would call like the day traders for institutions, which is like more swingers that maybe do shorter time frames and so on. They like you will have all the way from the super speculative institutions who are like just looking for quick bucks and okay, buy here, sell there, and so on. But I do think that the majority of large players are here in for the long run. I'll just give you an example. Look at Eric Trump. Like Eric Trump, he's at this point he's a Bitcoin evangelist. Larry Fink from BlackRock as well, and they don't evangelize and talk about Bitcoin because numbers go up. What they actually understand Bitcoin and talk about the Bitcoin's best traits, like the immutability, like how it's scarce, how it's capped at 21 million, how it's unstoppable, and so on and so forth. So that's what I would say.
Yeah. Just a quick, you raise a very good point there, right? So you mentioned a couple of institutions, even personalities who are quote unquote evangelists nowadays. I remember Larry Fink 2018. He was calling Bitcoin as a money laundering scheme, and right now they're like, preaching Bitcoin as a gospel. Just interesting, right? So you see people kind of creating a 180-degree shift on their perspective. I'm assuming that you agree with me that these movements create a little bit of a push, that it makes it easier now to convince traditional markets to believe in crypto. Would you agree?
The last part, cut a little bit. Traditional markets colliding in crypto?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm assuming that you would agree with me that with these personalities coming to the picture, even Trump, who we call as the biggest KOL on crypto, Donald Trump himself, it's making your job easy to speak to traditional markets, right? And make them believe about crypto. So let's talk about Roxom there, right, into the picture. And you guys are in front and center of moving capital today. In your interaction, let me just add this question, right? So in your interaction with your clients, with your customers, with your friends, do you see them shifting money now and rotating their money from traditional market, at least before this crash? Are you seeing some money movements already from big picture, at least within your circle?
I mean, I would say yes and no. But before giving you a complete answer, I'll drop some some suspense, and I'm gonna go get my computer charger. Give me 1 second.
Okay, all right. That doesn't go. Okay, so he will get his computer charge. So anyways, this is a very interesting topic, Miranda, right? Because I like the flow of the conversation. You know, Borja is the CEO of Roxom, one of the global exchanges, and he's based in Argentina, which is on the other side of the planet. It's interesting that there is some common thread of conversation here, right? So he speaks fundamentals, he speaks institutional adoption, and it's interesting that we're kind of talking about the common thread, and it's I kind of see an alignment, right? So a lot of validation, at least from our community. There you go, he's back. I hope that your laptop is now
Yeah, we're all good now.
okay.
So going to your question, Coach. Look, the thing is the following. Like, first off, the fact that you have sovereign wealth funds, institutions, treasuries, and wide corporate adoption. Of course, that and again, something important is we need to think about who the ETF buyers are, and the buyers of the ETF are practically boomers, right? And it's like the boomer economy accessing Bitcoin. So again, and similar to what we were saying about who's the buyer. So given the buyer profile, the buyer persona for this cycle, 100% people who have been for their whole lives and so on in traditional assets, they are now like, hey, what's this Bitcoin mania thing? Like, what's going on? Now you have all financial advisors and independent advisors and so on recommending at least a 1-2% exposure to Bitcoin. You have Larry Fink, the CEO of the largest asset manager in the planet, saying like, hey guys, you should minimum have a 5% exposure to Bitcoin. And naturally, when the CEO of BlackRock, one of the most trusted financial institutions of the world, is saying that you should at least own a 5% of Bitcoin in your portfolio, that is not something that can go just smoothly or unnoticed around there. That is actually a very bold statement. It's, again, we need to understand the context. It is the largest asset manager in the planet saying, hey, our recommendation is that you should at least have 5% of your wealth in Bitcoin. So yes, the answer is yes. People in traditional markets with traditional assets and so on do have a big intrigue in what's going on and eager to jump in and understand what's going on. Why is this happening? Why is BlackRock recommending a 5% exposure? Which, by the way, is a very big exposure to like very, very big portfolios. For us, it's too little, but for traditional people, 5% is like a sizable part.
That's right.
So the interest has picked up a lot, and again, like the buyer persona this time is wealthy families, wealthy people, institutions, companies, corporates. On the corporate side, everybody is seeing what Strategy is doing, and just a company that went from $500 million market cap all the way up to $100 billion. Even though now it's not in the best moment right now because of the Bitcoins and the economy's crash, but still a success case study. So the whole market is like that is not in Bitcoin still is like, I need to get into this. But then the hesitation comes because people that don't understand Bitcoin say like, it's too expensive. $100,000 per Bitcoin is like, it's too expensive to buy Bitcoin. I don't know if I'm sure I want to buy Bitcoin now, which is what people don't understand. Like, people don't understand that anything below $1 million, actually for me, and this is not financial advice, anything below $1 million is incredibly cheap for Bitcoin. And I've been in this for a very long time. And actually, it's much less riskier to invest in Bitcoin today than it was to invest when it was $20, $100, $1,000, or even $3,000. Today, the risk of investing in Bitcoin at $80,000, I believe that the risk reward is 100 times better, because now we have holders that are very large holders, and Bitcoin as real estate, if you want to think about it in some way, is a much better neighborhood.
So is that blessing also is a curse? What I mean by that is you said institutions are now coming to the picture. And these institutions are also hodlers of traditional stocks like S&P 500, etc. With them going to buy Bitcoin, is that what you see a driver of why we're kind of correlated today? To your point, we are not a risk-off asset yet. We're becoming, when you see tech stocks going down, Bitcoin goes on a correlated dive as well. So do you think that there's also that consequence there of us having more institutions, or do you think this is just probably the start and it will mature anyway in the long term? If you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, I definitely think that this will be more and more mature. It's Bitcoin is unstoppable at this point. Like there's nothing that we can do, anybody can do. This is again, once you've got sovereign wealth funds, countries, presidents, and so on, it's game over. Like this is it. The Rubicon has been crossed. The bridges have been burned. For me, again, I'm not financial advice, but for me, I know in the same way I know my name is Borja, I know that Bitcoin in less than 10 years will be above $1 million. And it's not hard to tell because of the people who hold Bitcoin and the countries and the institutions and the corporations. And again, all the fundamentals are there. So this takes us to the next step, which is Bitcoin is, and this is why we created Roxom. Bitcoin is not an asset itself for us. Bitcoin should be our measuring stick. Bitcoin should be our unit of account, because I'm from Argentina. And in Argentina, we went through a process where people, naturally, we in Argentines, we saved in pesos, and our unit of account was the Argentine peso, and we lived in pesos, and our salaries were in pesos, and our expenditures were in pesos, and so on, and we lived a happy life. Until one day, the peso against the dollar started doing terribly. And the peso started getting devaluated and depreciated, and the peso was worth less and less dollars every single day, every single month, every single year. One day, 30 years ago, people started saying, what's the point in me thinking in pesos, saving in pesos, pricing my savings, my net worth, my apartments, my everything, my portfolio in pesos, if my unit of account, my currency is getting depreciated and hammered every single day? So then people started switching to a mindset in which they would price their savings, their salary, their net worth, their apartments, their cars, their everything in dollars. Why? Because it was and it is the hard currency, the currency that you know that is not going to devaluate, not going to depreciate, and the way for you to measure like the real returns. Because if you look at things in Argentina, in Argentine pesos, it looks like it's always up, but in dollars, you are down because each time you have less and less dollars.
Right.
So fast forward to today, 30 years later, what happens? People live in pesos. They get their salaries in pesos. Everything is in pesos. Life is in pesos, but everybody thinks in dollars. So if you ask an Argentine, how much money do you make? He will not tell you like, I make 1.57 million pesos per month. He will tell you, I make $1,000 a month. If you ask a person, how much do you sell your car for? He will tell you $10,000. He will not tell you 125 million pesos or 10 million 250,000 pesos. If you ask a person how much money they've got in their account, they will tell you $200. They will not tell you like 300,000 pesos, and so on and so forth. So basically, we live in a bi-monetary country where people get paid and live in pesos, so in one currency, but they think, price, and save in a different currency, which is the dollar. So we live in one currency, we think in other currency.
Right.
We believe that Bitcoin is to the dollar what the dollar has been to the peso. And for us, the dollar, the euro, the absolutely everything is just, let's say, a beautiful form and shape of the Argentine peso. So the dollar is a much better, much more beautiful, much more sophisticated Argentine peso, but it's an Argentine peso in the end, meaning that it has the same root problems. It's the core and root problems are the same. A currency that is issued, it's completely and discretionary, printed, with a lot of debt on its shoulder, and something that we from Argentina already know the result. And this is why we think that in the same way that in Argentina, it stopped being useful to price portfolios, net worth, assets, markets, and so on in pesos, and we switched to the dollar, we believe that the same process is happening now at a global scale with Bitcoin. We believe that it doesn't make any absolute sense to price assets, net worth, things, and so on in dollars. It's much better to do it in Bitcoin. Because if you think about your personal portfolio, and you think how much money you had in your bank account or saved, your net worth was a couple of years ago in dollars, and think about how much Bitcoin was that, and think about how much money you have today and how much Bitcoin that is today, you probably have less Bitcoin. So the thing is, if, like in Argentina, if you're always accumulating more Bitcoin, it doesn't matter if Bitcoin is going down or up in fiat terms, you will always be in a better shape. In the same way that in Argentina, because in Argentina, usually the peso is depreciating, but sometimes it appreciates. The most important thing is to always have more dollars. It doesn't matter if the peso is going up or if the peso is going down. In the long run, you know that the best thing you can do and have is more dollars. And so we see this same thing happening at a global scale, and our new unit of account is Bitcoin.
Majority of our viewers can definitely relate from what you said, because our unit of currency in the Philippines is also called pesos. Not sure if you know that, but we have pesos as well. It's a Philippine peso. And 1 peso, $1 US is equivalent to 59 pesos today, which is the lowest in the history. You know, we've been depreciating our currency most recently against the dollar. So speaking of that, right? So
Coach, how much was it like 5 years ago?
52, 50. Well, it has been on that neighborhood. It depends on whether our local central bank is going to ease interest rates, etc. But you know, it's still the U.S. market. That I call it this way: the U.S. market is the tide that floats all the boat, and we are a small boat. Philippines is a very small boat in the ocean. So it was within that neighborhood, but this is the worst. It keeps on kind of fluctuating. But I think the strongest I've ever seen in the recent history was around 51 peso, but most recently it's around 59, which is crazy. So let me. I know you and I were talking offline, Borja, and I'd like my viewers to know about this. 2 questions for you. What's driving the price of Bitcoin today? I know you kind of use the word weird, right? But I want to have more articulation of that. And then number 2, when do you see this market recovering? Do you see a Q1 rebound, or this bear market can further bleed towards 2026? What are your thoughts on those 2 questions?
Yeah, regarding Bitcoin price, now I think that first off, all the markets are like crashing a bit. So it's not only Bitcoin, it's actually everything. The thing is that Bitcoin is more volatile, and we're getting dips of like 5-10%. Like, and also the funny thing is that at this time of the year, if we work in a pure like euphoric bull market, these red candles that we're getting, we should be getting the same but green color. Like if you think about November 21, November 2017, this was the time of the year that we were getting literally the same candles but green candles, and maybe price increases of like $10,000, $15,000, and so on at this point. So clearly we're not in an euphoric bull market. Actually, I think that at this point we're just cascading. I mean, I think that we are in extreme fear. I just think that every single day, if you look at the daily charts, out of the last 15, 16 sessions, we've only had 3 green sessions, tiny bit, and then continue going down. I just think that the fear right now, it's at very high levels. Everybody's selling, everybody wants out, just because they think that it's going to continue to go down. And it's a self-fulfilled prophecy. You just think that the Bitcoin is going to continue to go down, so everybody's selling, and it's actually going down more, and everybody continues to believe that it will continue to go down, so they continue to sell, and it just continues. I do think that at some point it has to stop. I mean, we've been going down 1 or 2% consistently per day for the last 10, 15 days. Consistently 1-2% down, 1-2% down, 1-2% down, and at some point it has to stop. There you go, there you have it. I mean, it's like completely insane. The structure is completely broken, and at this point, it's like in the same way that you're getting in euphoric markets, you're getting FOMO and people buying, and just like people buying nonstop. We're getting the same, but the other way around. I mean, people are just selling nonstop, and actually there's plenty of volume as well. I don't know about today, but this week there has been volume, quite a lot of volume. OTC desks are also selling at the rate of billions of dollars. So yeah, the sell-off is like really, really big. We say in Argentina, siempre que llovió paró, which means every time it has rained ever, it always stopped. You've never seen a rain that does never stop. So this cannot go forever. And once the selling stops, like Warren Buffett used to say all his life, right? Sell in extreme greed, buy in extreme fear. I think that once this thing stabilizes a bit, we'll be looking to, and again, never financial advice and so on, but we'll be looking to get back in.
Interesting. And when we go back in and people started to buy Bitcoin, Roxom is there into the picture. Question to you: do you think that there are institutions who could be manipulating this? That's why it's becoming a selling week. Because I mean, between you and me, and we've spoken offline. Well, at least for my own opinion, this is a two different bear markets altogether. The 2022 bear market, you have Gensler up in the headline. You have Biden against crypto, DOJ, etc. You have regulation. Right now, you have in the headline ETF getting approved. Bitcoin is in the, is a reserve. Do you think at some point this is just a temporary market panic, and then the market can recover, or we are on our way to a 2-year bear like we've seen in 2022?
I mean, like, if I had the right question, I think I would be like, I probably wouldn't be here talking. But no, look, I think it's a hard question to answer, because I do believe that we're gonna get relief, but the truth, coach, is that if the world doesn't help, Bitcoin cannot be the only asset that goes up. And what I want to say here is that if we are not seeing that the markets are hot, that the VC industry is hot, that I'll just give you one benchmark so people think in terms of context and the entire world. So private equity, VC. Private equity and VC is like basically when these markets are hot, is because the world is on risk on mode. Because if the world, like when you are on risk on and interest rates are very low, then you cannot get any yield from low risk yield. So people will just go to venture, private equity, public markets, and so on, because that's the place where the activity is going, is happening, and consumption is increasing, and so on. At this point, this is not the case. I mean, interest rates are still high. They are supposedly getting lower, but they're still high. Private markets are not hot. Only AI is hot, and we have to see what happens with AI. Public markets, they are technically we are in all-time highs, but you can see what happened to the stock market the other day. Nvidia announced like massive earnings and so on. Still,
That's right.
Still it went down and so on. So the world is in a weird moment right now. And if the world and traditional markets don't give us strong rally, I think it's going to be very hard for Bitcoin to rally as well, and for crypto in general to rally. And I do think that if traditional markets do not rally, we will see like we're going to be going into a bear market. But for us, that is not a problem, and that is why exactly we made Roxom, because priced in Bitcoin, like I mean, it's a good time to have exposure to other assets, because again, probably priced in Bitcoin, other assets will be doing very well. So it's always opportunity. It all depends on how you're looking at it.
And to your point, what other assets can they find in Roxom, Borja?
Yeah, so right now, what we have in Roxom, and just for everybody to understand as well, is like our vision and thesis. The first large stock market was the Amsterdam Exchange, built on the Dutch guilder. Then you had the London Stock Exchange, built on the pound, and then you had Wall Street, built on the dollar. We actually believe and see. I mean, history shows you how the strongest capital markets always grow within the strongest currency. We do believe that both Wall Street and the US dollar have reached its peak. We believe that other market will outgrow Wall Street. Other capital markets will outgrow Wall Street. So the big question is, which are those markets that will outgrow Wall Street? And again, history tells you, hey, if you want an answer to that question, you should try guessing what the next strong currency of the world is going to be. So for us, the answer to that question is very easy. We believe that one of the strongest contenders to become the world's strongest currency is Bitcoin. Ergo, we believe that Bitcoin capital markets are going to be those markets who outgrow Wall Street. So today, what we have just launched in Roxom a couple of weeks ago is our first two instruments. We have SP500 BTC and gold BTC. Actually, this means that you can long or short the SP500, but in Bitcoin terms, in Bitcoin pricing, or you can long or short the gold in Bitcoin terms or in Bitcoin pricing. So this is quite interesting because, again, Bitcoin becomes a unit of account, Bitcoin becomes a hurdle rate, and you can actually trade traditional assets priced in Bitcoin and within Bitcoin's volatility. And very soon, in a couple of weeks, actually, we're going to be launching our spot markets. Our spot product will be listing hundreds of traditional equities, and we'll also be listing plenty of Bitcoin treasury companies. So we're going to be shipping what we call the Bitcoin Treasury Stock Exchange, where people will be able to invest in all sorts of Bitcoin treasury companies, everything from one place in Roxom, priced in Bitcoin, and so on. And for this, it also makes all the sense in the world, because Bitcoin treasury companies are supposed to be a good Bitcoin investment. And what's better to understand if it's a good Bitcoin investment by having it priced in Bitcoin, right? At the end of the day, it should be something that in Bitcoin terms, it goes up. So this is what we're doing. This is what we have. We also are building awesome products for Bitcoiners. We're working on Bitcoin-backed loans. We're working on Bitcoin repos, all products that we didn't launch yet, but that we have in the pipeline. So it's a platform for Bitcoiners and people who want to invest in Bitcoin terms, to understand the world in Bitcoin, always with a goal to accumulate more Bitcoin, to have Bitcoin returns and Bitcoin financial products.
Okay. All right. You know what? Time is very fast, Borja. So I'll go to the part of our show where we go the fast talk way. Like I'm gonna be throwing you quick questions. If you just give me quick answers, if it's okay. So let's go first with my quick question for you. Um, Two words that you could advise traders today who are still very cautious entering Bitcoin markets. Answer it number one, as if you were the 16-year-old guy. How would you convince, or what are the words that you could entice them to buy Bitcoin? What are those things that you say before? Please go ahead.
Yeah, first off, do like your real research and make sure that you are investing in something that you actually believe in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next question. Um, what are the key trends and innovations do you think will happen after this depressed moment in Bitcoin? You see ETF for the past couple of months. You see treasuries happening. You see, is there anything else that you think you see or you guys are seeing in Roxom that we might be interested on from a trend perspective, Borja?
Yeah, like I was telling you offline, right now I'm long on gold, I'm long on SP 500 in Bitcoin terms, and I'm up like 12% in Bitcoin, which means like for all market conditions, regarding the question to Roxom, most definitely, like there's plenty of opportunities on every way. So 100%, like.
Okay, next question. I know you don't have a crystal ball today, but if I'm going to ask you Bitcoin price prediction for end of 2026, what is that going to be? It's not in
Ooh.
this, but if you can give me, I will ask that question.
End of 26.
Yes, because I know I heard you said 1 million 10 years from now. What are your thoughts on near term?
End of 26 sub 100k, 27 or 28, between 300 and 500k probably.
So the 26 can be sort of a cautious moment, buying moment potentially as it kind of goes down further,
I I,
unless
I believe so, yeah.
unless there's a significant Trump pronouncement or U.S. Congress say, okay, we're going to make a law on strategic Bitcoin reserve. Can be.
I believe so. I believe that it will be a not so yeah, I believe sub 100,
Sure.
there just
Sure. Camiranda, not a financial advice, okay? Just these are conversations of
yeah.
people who understand crypto. All right, next. Curious, 2011. Give us an idea. How many Bitcoin did you buy when it was $20 each?
I didn't buy. I mined, and I could mine roughly like around 1 Bitcoin a month. Then I lost. I lost Bitcoins in the middle and so on, but I could save some of them.
Okay. All right. Do you hold Bitcoin today, and how much percent of your wealth is Bitcoin? You can choose not to answer, but
No,
the
no. I
question.
I, I will answer.
Sure.
I do hold Bitcoin today. I always hold Bitcoin, and my most important thing is I think in Bitcoin. So technically, I'm being completely honest and frank right now. A big part of my portfolio is out of Bitcoin, but because I believe it will continue to go down, so I am accumulating more Bitcoin. My portfolio is worth more Bitcoin today than it was worth a week ago. And so this is how I think. I always think in Bitcoin terms. I always want more Bitcoin, and since I want more Bitcoin always at all times, sometimes it's better to have other assets. So right now, part of my portfolio is in dollars because I believe that Bitcoin will continue to go down, and I want to buy the dip. So unluckily, this has been a good trade so far. I'm up like 25% in Bitcoin terms, so I'm very happy.
And I like that perspective because in short, what you're trying to say is that we're going to be doing bargain hunting as we kind of go along the next couple of months,
Exactly.
depending on where the key price of Bitcoin will be. All right. Another question is for someone. Give me a second. Okay. All right. Another question. For you, in your experience, you're a very, you're just 28 years old. words of wisdom for people at your age today. You took very big risks when you were young. What made you stay in the game? Is this because of your background, your family was asking you to take risks? What conditions drove that? Give us a little bit of a quick answer, please.
Conviction. Always conviction, self-conviction, and conviction in whatever you're doing. Conviction is the only way. It's the only way to do things and stick in the long term. So conviction. Make sure that you're doing something you're you're convinced of, and it'll be easy.
All right, my second to the last question. What's your Bitcoin exit plan? Is there an exit plan? $1 million?
No, that's the thing. I think in Bitcoin, I always want more Bitcoin. So like, I have no exit plan. Like, Bitcoin is my currency. Bitcoin is my unit of account. My only plan is to make sure that my portfolio is always worth more Bitcoin.
All right. On that note, I would love to. I would hope that you try to say these words as a word of endearment for our Camiranda viewers. If you can tell us this word, please. I love you 3000 Camiranda. That's my community name. That's just for our some recorded video for our guests, please.
We love you 3000 Camiranda.
One more time. Go.
We love you 3000 Camiranda.
Woohoo! All right, before we let you go, I know you're a very busy man and you are in the other side of the planet, literally. You're in the other side of the planet today. What time is it there in Argentina?
It's 5 to 10 a.m. here.
Oh, it's too early. Thanks for making time for us, sir. And before I let you go, any big things in the works today to promote? Tell us about Roxom. What's in the roadmap? Please, the floor is yours. What's going to be happening next couple of months?
Guys, if you want to learn and know about what it is to look at the world in Bitcoin, to invest in Bitcoin terms, to be in a place where everything is priced in Bitcoin, so we will always profit or lose, but hopefully profit, it will always be in Bitcoin. If you want Bitcoiner products, Bitcoin-backed loans, hopefully soon we're working on our Bitcoin repos, which is unlocking capital markets style of yield for Bitcoin, and everything Bitcoin related. Just Roxom.com and discover this Bitcoin world. I mean, we are a platform made by Bitcoiners for Bitcoiners. The whole goal is that Roxom to be your Bitcoin journey, let's say. So we'll feel more than free to come in and try us out and give us feedback, help us improve the product, and we'll be taking good care of you.
All right. By the way, just a quick trivia. I like the S&P 500 paired to BTC, gold paired to BTC. I remember the time prior stable coins, almost everyone was paired to Bitcoin, like Ethereum, Bitcoin, right? Yeah. Cardano to Bitcoin. Anyways, on that note, thank you again. Gracias, Borja, and thanks for the time you spent to the community. And I hope that we could learn more from your team in Roxom, and I hope we could still invite you in our future shows to talk about Bitcoin capital markets and the trends that we are seeing so far as an industry expert. Thank you so much.
Pleasure. Thank you, Coach Miranda. ¿Cómo está?
Thank you. All right. On that note, Camiranda, thank you again to the Roxom community for being with us in the show. Not a financial advice. We did not even ask you to download or create an account for them. There's no sign-up link here whatsoever. This is a pure educational show. What I'd like to happen here, Camiranda, is we pick up lens from experts in the industry, and share, what's happening with the market today. Bitcoin is currently at $82,000, and this is quite interesting. Give me 10 more minutes of your time. I'm going to be right back, and we're going to be talking about technical analysis about Bitcoin. Again, thank you so much, Roxom, Borja, Nika, and the rest of the Roxom team.
You are listening to Coach Miranda Miner in his daily crypto live.
All right, please don't leave us yet, because we're going to be doing some technical analysis type 1. If this is what you have been looking for. Let's go, Miranda. Teka lang. Okay, let's do this.
The technical analysis for the crypto market traders live with Coach Miranda Miner.
All right. So currently, based on how I've been, Miranda, well, it's okay if you don't become a member, it's okay. But I've been sending these charts to the YouTube members. No, if you would like to get to know what's happening on Coach Miranda's head, there's a YouTube membership link. It's only just 199 pesos a month. You have daily charting Monday to Sunday, recorded. It's up to you. It's optional. The price of a coffee per month, you get 30 days of charting. I've been sharing this, no? So you have Bitcoin creating if you consider the Fibonacci here, no, there is a 38.2 at $84,000 or 39,000 sorry, I stand corrected. 83,900 range, no? Tanggalin ko yung Fibonacci, you have a breakdown on a big support. You also have here, no, you also have a breakdown on this particular area. So definitely this breakdown that you're seeing here is a product of multiple support breakdowns. And you also have almost a HNS structure here. Kaya nung nagkaroon ng neckline, basag at 100, 304, tumuloy-tuloy pababa. So from a support perspective, nabasag na yung multi-year support natin, and we're now thinking of a 70, actually we're thinking of a 75, no? Sabi ko nga kanina sa mga members, sagadin na natin yung bagsak, no, para talagang oversold na siya, no? And on a day time frame, taking a look at the oscillators, no, we're seeing that the market is, for me, no, this is a market product of two things: manipulation and the retailer capitulating. The last time that we saw Bitcoin at RSI 30 at 30 was June 14, 2022. The RSI back then was around 20, less than 20, sub 20, no, or around 22. Our RSI right now is at 26. So the last time we had sub 30 RSI was 2022, almost 3 years ago. Ito yung mga these are the RSIs that didn't materialize, and during this particular time there were recoveries already, no? So you have recoveries after these RSIs. So what does this tell you is that sagadin mo natin, Miss Market, mabilis na bagsak on 74 then recover. No? Mabilis mong bagsakin ng 74 then recover. For those that are newbies, what's important and what I always do as a coach is if the trend line breaks down, for example, let me just do a quick charting, by the way, I missed this. Na-miss ko na to, promise. I've not done this for a long time. So let's say there's a structure, no? There's a structure, higher highs, higher lows. When it breaks down, okay, what I normally do is aabang ako ng either previous higher lows or 382s or 618. Pag wala kang nakitang Fibonacci support, no, it can be, pag wala kang makitang SNR support, then your Fibonacci can become your support, 38.2618. Now, what's important is, pag nakuha nyo na yung anatomy of the feast natin, which is support identification. So, meron kang initial run-up, insulated consolidation, early magic, late magic, tapos you have your pullback. Pag nag-pullback, ito support identification, you need to find the support. Pag nag-support identify na yan, what we need to do is to wait for accumulation. While it's accumulating, it's creating a reversal pattern. Once the reversal pattern happens, dalawang atake dyan. Unang-una, you could do a bounce play, intra-bounce play, or you could do a reversal pattern play, kuha mo sa neckline, tabu trade pataas. That's how I normally look at the market. No? Sa bilis ng sinabi ni Coach Miranda, pag bago ka at hindi mo ko naintindihan, then allow us to help you. Meron kasi ang isa sa mga pinakamahirap na i-trade is when you're trading the pullback. The market pulling back or the market on a drawdown is the hardest market to trade because what's normally happening, Miranda, is if the market is creating, parang sinabi ni Borja kanina, sabi niya, the market has given you just a couple of days of green on a day candle. Now, this is the problem on many traders because if you are seeing higher lows and higher highs, perfect example ito, no? And please take note of this, no? So you have higher highs and higher lows, no? This is the problem, no? The problem here is whenever you have these types of forma, you have your impulses. Yan ang nang-uubos ng trader. The impulses because it makes the trader assume that the market is going to recover without considering for resistances, no? So, yan ang kailangan na, lalo na kung the market is on a pullback. Meaning, kung nag-TLSBD ka, like what I've said, go back to my previous live, sinabi natin doon, no, that the market is on a pullback, therefore hayaan mo muna siyang gumawa ng reversal patterns. Pag pababa ang market, wag mong saluhin, no? Hayaan mo gumawa ng reversal pattern yung market. When the market is creating this type of forma, no? Let's say may ganitong forma yung market, ganito. Right? You have that forma on the market, no, nagkaroon ng pullback, no? Ito normally sinasalo to on a very low time frame, naglo-long agad or nagbabay. So yun ang gagamitin ninyong lens na dapat pag intraday active trading, hot trading, you don't assume, no, because it's on a breakdown, aakyat agad. You need reversal patterns like necklines, double bottoms, triple bottoms, inverse HNS, Miranda.
Ikaw ay nakikinig kay Coach Miranda Miner sa Daily Crypto Live.
So kanina I saw a 382, no? I'm using a regular candle. The 382 is around 83,894 or almost 84,000 range. Kanina huminto pa ito, no? Huminto pa ng konti around 86, 85, nagre-retest ng support pero hindi na siya nanalo, no? Nag-retest pa pababa. And this is a product of liquidations of the market. The market nagfa-flush out ng mga open positions because naliliquidate, highly leveraged positions, no, wala mga stop loss hanggang matalo na. Lesson learned there, huwag nyo nang tiisin, no? Follow your trade plan. For example, example of a trade plan, nagkaroon kayo ng, let's say, bounce play dito. Nagkaroon kayo ng bounce play. Let's say this is your bounce play position, bounce on this support. Pag umabot na dito, again, example lang, no? Umabot na dyan, cut loss na yan, no? Or, actually, dito pa nga lang, no? Yan, meron ka na dyang breakdown na support. Pwede mo na i-cut loss yan. Nag-confirm na ng breakdown lalo sa big picture, dapat binitawan mo na. So, if you do that regularly, then the market will not become a very painful experience for you. But if it is something na nararanasan ninyo bilang isang trader, always don't forget, wear two types of hat. Number one, sabi nga ni Borja kanina, no, yung mga swingers, yung mga intraday traders, your active traders, iba yung lente ninyo. You can actually take advantage of the shorts, of the volatility, real time frame volatilities. You can take advantage of that. But if you are a long-term, 1 year, 2 year, 3 years, 10 years from now, you have a different risk appetite, iba ang stop loss, iba ang opposition size mo niyan. Okay, so please take note of that, Miranda.
You are listening to Coach Miranda Miner in his Daily Crypto Live.
So take note of that. Balikan yung live ko para makita yung aking reminder No, nag-live po tayo noong na makakaraang mga araw. Sabi natin, pag nag-breakdown, huwag magbida-bida. Antayin munang gumawa ng mga reversal plays itong pattern na ito. No, balikan ko lang na mabilis yung ating live na yun para maulit natin, Miranda. Give me a second. Give me a second here. Hang on a second, guys. Anyway, sisend ko na lang yung link sa inyo. No? But this was my live the past couple of days before nag-mentors live on Bitcoin TLSBD. No? Bitcoin TLSBD. My topic was about alt season. Yan. Okay. Send ko sa inyo sa chat room. Ayan. Okay. Anyways, so this is on your Bitcoin. Puntahan ko sandali si Ethereum, no? The next coin natin. Pulahan lahat. Yun. Meron kang 618 at 2761, no? Katulad din siya halos ng Bitcoin, and then kuhain natin yung mas malaki. So your 28, your 618 is around 2441, or pwede rin mag-oras yan dito kasi meron siyang ginawang HNS dito, nagkaroon ng breakout, humataw na paakyat, but this can also act as your support. No? Ang ating next support will be 2441 for Ethereum. Puntahan ko lang ng mabilis si Asian market. No? Asian pulahan din. Yan, sabi ko nga sa inyo before, yung AI valuation is what's driving it. European market and then US. Let me just check if the pre-market numbers are red. Okay, laki ng mga pre-market numbers natin. Pulahan, Nvidia, Tesla, Palantir, which is AI. Sorry, let me just try to open this. AMD, pula, Google, green. So it's predominantly a red market on a Friday. Take note of that. Okay. So this can potentially create an effect yet on crypto. Another thing na share ko sa inyo, pinupuntahan ko to palagi. Punta kayo dito para malaman nyo before the market open ano yung timpla ng market. Go to Market Watch, go to futures. No? Ayan. So pag futures yan, medyo green. So ang futures ng Nasdaq green, 0.27 kasi ito open to na 24/7. So pwede rin magkaroon ng pagkakataon na mag-reverse after an hour of the market open. So wait and see ka dyan. No? Kung maganda man ang opening ng market today, kailangan natin ng pang-open. For people who don't know what have happened in the past couple of days, di ba nag-live ako noong Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday naka-off ako kasi si mga mentors na nag-live, then Friday I have a live today. If you don't know, I reminded all of you on the Nvidia results. No? The Nvidia results affected the market again. No? This is the biggest company in the whole world. And the EPS numbers and the sales numbers are very positive. The problem is on the middle of the trading day, the market dumped. No, so despite the market seeing some positivity, this is a manipulated news across the board for me. Someone or somewhere wants to drop this market for no reason at all. They're saying AI valuation is very crazy, etc. Therefore, with Nvidia being one of the biggest companies also connected to AI, so they sold on the good news. No, so this happened Thursday in the morning, then tumuloy-tuloy bumaba palalo. If you would have noticed, it's the same thing, no? So around yan, itong mga candle nito for the past couple of days, effect ito nung ng panic even in the stock market. Tapos itong candle na itong red na ito was an effect of other drivers like the AI sell on news even in the stock market. Even actually Nasdaq nag-sell off din, no? Ang laki ng volatility niya the past couple of days. Yesterday kasi nga naglaro no, umakyat then bumaba ulit. Kaya nag-doji yung candle nung Nasdaq because of the Nvidia midday reversal of trend, no? And dyan humabol din, nagkaroon ng parang correlated move si Bitcoin. So hindi mo kailangan malaman lahat yan. Those are analysis that I offer every day in my live, and don't worry, I'm gonna be doing live every day already, so at least to guide you on what's happening in the market. Ang trabaho mo ngayon alamin is how are you going to handle this situation. No, are you going to handle this and go long term and hold your position dahil ipit ka na, or are you going to cut your losses, no, and have a more peaceful life? Ako ang gagawin ko, like what nakakatuwa, align kami ni Borja mag-isip, no? And this is not something you need to follow because iba ang lalim ng bulsa natin, no? So, ang gagawin ko, wait for this to drop. Sagadin na natin 75. Sagadin na natin. So, magad ka na. Pag umakyat naman yan, recover yung mga reds. Diba? Bili tayo sa ilalim, no? Santayin na natin. Sagadin na natin. Let this market capitulate. Diba? And then look na tayo for a new fresh set of risks and capital to ride on the bounce, no? Ngayon kasi the market, no, ang daming magagandang balita, but the market is on a red, no? Sabi nga ni Borja kanina, it raised a very good point. The market, unless we become a risk off asset, meaning when the market is bad, I will buy Bitcoin, gold, and dry powder. Dry powder means it's your stable coins or cash. Unless that happens, then we're still not where we need to be. Kulang pa yung trabaho na ginagawa natin, no? And if you are new to the crypto space, welcome. Welcome to the crypto space, Miranda. Let me just try to make this a very interesting portion. Kung bago po kayo sa crypto, welcome to the space. This is not the first time this happened, no? Kaway-kaway sa mga Miranda dyan since 2022. Okay? Direktahang tanong, direktahang sagot. Coach, are we in the bear market? No? Technically speaking, sabi ko nga nung isang araw, technically speaking, when the market price drops more than 20% from the top, alam ko yan because I'm a certified technical analyst, bear market by definition. Pero ako, hindi ko inaalis sa sarili ko na sometime what's this? April of this year humataw ng 74K si Bitcoin pero nagsalita si Trump, nag-recover agad eh. So this is what makes crypto interesting. No, the volatility and the uncertainty. Technically speaking, naka-bear market tayo nung April eh. Pero come October, nag-125,000 pa. So napaka-unpredictable ng market na to. No, with everything that's new happening, you have a political leader becoming the biggest KOL of Bitcoin. Napakarami pong bago. And that's one of the things that I'd like you to start embracing. How do you embrace a very volatile market? You don't change the market. You protect yourself. How do you protect yourself? Protect your capital, position sizing, and risk management. No, protect your peace, journal your losses. Before I let you go, one of the reasons why I think, hindi ka pa din satisfied sa experience mo today sa crypto is because of your unresolved losses. Alam nyo, Miranda, may tinatawag tayong problem loop. Yung loop, the loop word means umiikot lang. May problem loop ang isang trader kapag hindi niya nako-close yung mga open wounds niya. Na-open at na-open lang ulit yung sugat. Ibig sabihin, for example, pinasok mo yung coin nag-breakdown. Nung natalo ka, kinulose mo lang yung loss mo, and hindi ka nagtanda, hindi mo sinulat paano ka nagkamali, how are you going to avoid it, wala kang journal. That's what I call as an example of an error loop or a trading error loop. Hindi ka nakaka-recover dun sa mga losses mo kasi hindi mo siya kino-close. When I say kino-close, you never have the time to have a trader rationalization or a trader sit-down moment na ito ba yung mga issues ko, I will not do it again. Ito yung gagawin ko next time once it happens. Yung mga trigger points mo. So it's a loop. Ganun din if you're winning. Parang at some point, you don't feel that you're satisfied in your wins. At na nangyayari, nare-recover agad as a loss. Nagbe-break even ka lang agad. Kasi unang-una, yung wins mo are not legit wins. Why do I say that? Kasi hindi naman siya produkto ng repeatable and reproducible wins eh. Chamba moments. So when you don't close a winning trade and understand what drove that win, 2018, nakakatawa yung mga journal ko. Talagang sinusulat ko yung ugali ko. As in talagang, sabi ko nga, sorry for the word, no? Ano ka ba naman? Matalino ka pero parang ang tanga mo sa trade na to. Ganun yung mga words natin. Kasi talagang kailangan magtanda ka eh. You need to close the loop. Kahit winning trades, sulat mo yan. If you don't really close that loop, baka iikot ka eh. The losses will just circle on you. No, the wins, even if it's great, you will still recall. You will still suffer on losses because you never understood what drove that win, what drove that loss. So, nakakapagod ang trading pag ganun. Kasi lagi ka nag-iisip. You don't process it. So, ang ini-encourage ko sa inyo as a trading coach, hindi technical analysis. Kasi marami sa inyo magagaling na. I will encourage you to sit down, write down your trading losses and wins, and write down, why did I lose on this trade? Why did I win on this trade? You try to process that. Seryosohin mo, pera pinag-uusapan natin. Seryosohin mo na. Subukan mo yan. Play money lang, trial money, 1.5 month. And then start ka ng real money 2026. Ang mahalaga, you slowly integrate yourself to the market, slowly but discipline. For the last time, mag-reboot ka today. Tanggalin mo na yung mga old habits. You write that down. You do a closed loop effort. Close mo yung mga open wounds mo. Isulat mo yan. Alamin mo ba't nangyari yung mga wins at losses. Time to reboot. And then have a very fresh, clean slate with this particular market. Then balitaan mo ko kung ano nangyari after you reboot. Reboot meaning, okay, close all the ports, start tayo fresh, clean slate, handa mo yung journal mo, bawat position isusulat na. Okay lang, kumita ka ng 5,000 pesos, 1,000 pesos, walang nagmamadali. Alam nyo ba, nung ako nagsisimula, 3%, 2%, 5%, negative 5%, negative 3%. Wala ako sa porsyento. Huwag niyong unahin yung porsyento, huwag niyong unahin yung porsyento ng P&Ls ninyo. Unahin niyo yung behaviors because the profits are going to follow. Unahin po natin, Miranda, yung tinatawag nating ugali or behavior. Kadalasan sa mga traders, inuuna natin yung P&L. Kailangan 200% ng P&L ko. But if I'm going to ask you directly, do you know or do you understand? How did you get that 200%? Majority or not, the trader will say, hindi ko naintindihan. Yun ang sinasabi kong closed loop or open loop. Hindi mo na-close yun. Hindi mo na po process kung bakit. At tumetenga yan sa utak mo hanggang mag-rewire ka na. Talagang hindi mo na alam ginagawa mo because lahat na naka-open. Kaya minsan pagod ka sa trading, nahihilo ka na, nalilito ka na kasi you don't process it one by one. May mga iniiwan kang trades na unresolved. So I'll encourage each and every one of you on this time of the market. This is the time of the market where we just need to relax, gamitin ng free time to backtest and check mo yung mga old trades, ba't pinasok. Sulat mo lahat ng mga mali. Sulat mo yung mga tama. Gawa ka ng action plan. No? Mahirap ang trading, but it is what it is. Now, if you really want to survive this market, you gotta be different versus the 99% of the market. All right. See, get type number 1 if what I said makes sense, nakaka-relate, and minsan kailangan ng ganitong konting trader, hindi trader sermon trader reminder, no? Trader reminder ni Coach Miranda.
You are listening to Coach Miranda Miner in his daily crypto
Minsan
life.
kailangan mo lang ng ganung konting, oy, teka lang tapik lang, tapik. Kalma ka lang kasi minsan kailangan mo ng ganyan. Do you agree with me? Kailangan naman, kalma lang. No? Ito mahirap pag kulay black yung damit mo, yung mga maliliit. Siyempre, konting proud lang. No? Galing pang Italy ba galing tong Lacoste, tong buaya na damit natin no? So, alright, sana po ay, na-miss ko tong comment na to, pitik kayo sa ilong. No? Minsan kailangan mo ng ganyan no? Kailangan mo ng your big brother telling you, teka lang, uy, kalma, halika dito. Kung meron kang ganyan, mas maganda. Di ba? Kasama mo ako dyan sa bahay, mas maganda. But I'm not there. But honestly, you don't need me. No? Kasi even if I'm there, magiging cosmetic addition lang si Coach Dapat ikaw mismo baguhin mo nandito. I-close mo yung mga naka-open loop dyan. I-close mo yan. Close mo yung mga open losses. Bakit mo ba na-loss? Hindi mo pinoprocess Parang ano yan parang kala mo expert sa relationship Teka lang wait lang. Parang 'di ba, if you don't process how did you lose the girl in your ex, baka maulit lang ulit. Hindi mo inaayos Yung siguro magandang dahilan yan or paraan para magkaroon ng analogy. 'Di ba? Natanggal ka sa work, umulit na naman yung problema mo kasi you don't process it. You don't sit down and come up with an action plan how to avoid that same loss. Anong nangyayari? Nadi-drain ka, mabilis kang ma-drain kasi ang daming naka-open. Marami kang binabalikan, nire-rewire mo yung utak mo. But if you move past that and learn from it, kahit trade man yan, personal na buhay, malaking tulong yan, Miranda. Lalo na, 2 months na lang, 2026 na po. Di ba? Target price, no? Ang aking target price mag-bounce on 75. Gawa ng reversal pattern. Sagad na natin. Hindi ako huwag kayo mahahype sa sabihin ko, pero na-excite ako sa discounted price ng altcoins. Napakamumura. Bagsak mo ang XRP ng $2. Grabe, no? Huwag kayong agad maniwala or madadala sa mga sinasabi ni Coach Miranda. The only reason I'm saying that is because baka kasi may mga 2025 na nag-join dito. Hindi nyo ka magigets. Unlike if you have joined 2022, 2021, 2023. Ibig sabihin, ako kasi, the way I discuss, parehas kong pine-present yung dalawang aspeto ng business or ng point of view. Trabaho mo yung hanapin, ano ba yung tingin mong uugma based on your personal circumstances, condition, observation. At least ini-educate kita, no, on the market. Diba? Sabi dito, para sa mga nandito na inubutan si Axie Downfall, Luna Top 10, FTX, Sam Bankman-Fried, Hacking Age, China Blocking, isang maigpit na yakap. Nakita nyo na lahat yan, no? But don't console, never console mediocrity. Tandaan niya na, what do I mean by that? Huwag niyong purihin ang ordinary. May ibang term dyan yung poverty porn. Alam niyo sabihin ng poverty porn? research niyo. Huwag niyo i-celebrate yon, ha? Do not celebrate mediocrity. Hindi pwedeng okay ang okay. Hindi pwedeng okay ordinary. Sa trading, you take risk, but it is a calculated risk. If there's no risk, there is no story. Okay? There's no risk, there is no story. Listen to the Midnight Ray. Ito yung background music ko before matagal na si Going Mary. Di ba? Of course, Kuya Dan, salamat. No, CDA, romanticizing poverty. Totoo yan. Di ba maraming ganyan ngayon? Poverty porn. Bawal yan. Huwag ganyan. Huwag niyong mahalin ng kahirapan. Example ng poverty porn. Pinapakita nilang isang itsura ng pamilya na maganda ang buhay, marangal kahit mahirap. Poverty porn. Okay lang kumain 3 beses ang araw basta marangal. Hindi ba pwedeng kumakain ka 3 beses ang araw pero marangal din? At mayaman din. Di ba? Hindi ba pwedeng marangal ka pero mayaman ka din? Bakit kailangan gawin na dahil mahirap ka okay? No, that's poverty porn. No. Ingat kayo sa ganyan. Ingat po kayo sa ganyang mentalidad.
Thanks, Coach Miranda Miner.
Ganda. Mentalidad ka, Miranda. Okay? Kayo po ay gumawa ng mindset na kumbaga, ito another thing. Diyan lang kayo. Happy na marami nagsistay. Sige nga, paramdam muna kayo. Mas okay ba yung ganitong usapan natin? Type number 1. Paramdam lang sa comments. Kahit sa team replay. Kasi minsan tingin ko nag-enjoy rin kasi ganitong mga usapan natin. For me, the goal is not 15 million. For me, the goal is not 10 million. For me, the goal is not 30 million or 1 million. For me, the goal is to be able to establish an income that will generate money for you while you sleep.
Ikaw ay nakikinig kay Coach Miranda Miner sa Daily Crypto Live.
Alam niyo yung tipong mas okay na bata ka, bumuo ka ng isang konsepto, sistema, proseso, negosyo na magbibigay sa iyo ng pera habang natutulog ka. Ang goal is not 1 million, ang goal is not 50 million, ang goal is not 5 million. The goal is to create multiple income streams passively. Passive, yan ang goal. Money is an output of that. Diba? And magkatapatan tayo. Pwede ba ang trading? Pwede naman. Pero wag mong laruin. Diba? So, na-miss ko tuloy yung mga usapan natin. Nakakamiss yung ganito. I miss going live. Na-miss ko tong mga live na to.
You are listening to Coach Miranda Miner in his Daily Crypto Live.
Sa mga bagong traders, mga natatalo lagi, well, I've been there, I've done that. The only thing that will separate me from you is dinanas ko lahat ng talo pero natuto ako. Huwag niyong isipin na mas magaling si coach sa'yo. Unang-una, para sa yung kinakain. Pangalawa, para sa yung ininom na tubig. Diba? Hindi mo ano ba kinakain ko? Kumakain ba ako ng bakal?
You are listening to Coach Miranda Miner in his Daily Crypto Live.
Ano kumakain ng bakal ka, Miranda? We eat the same food. Diba? So, wag mong pabayaan. Sige, consider mo na lost ka ng 2025. But don't let this year define you. Don't let this year define your life. Don't let this year become your definition. No? Anyways, sige. Confirm na po ang aking flight. I'm gonna be in Dubai on January 12, 13, 14, 15. I'm flying to London on January 15. I'm gonna be there up until February 14. And if you are in London, please shoot me an email, coach@globalmirandaminer.com. I would love to meet you if you are based in London, Camiranda. And yung ating team naman ay lumipad po ang aming team going San Francisco, going South Korea. San Francisco, going South Korea, and of course, hopefully Japan very soon. So, samahan nyo kami dyan. If you would like to join us, Camiranda, please visit the link. If you are from South Korea or Japan, please click on the link in the comment section below para makapag-rehistro kayo dahil libre po yan. Mamimit nyo pa ang mga Camiranda mentors natin very, very soon. Kaway-kaway sa mga nakikinig ng 2022. Ayan. Okay. Safe travels. Yes po. Maraming salamat. Matagal pa. Yes. Pahinga muna si Coach. No, this December. Oy, real talk tayo. Mahirap ang crypto. Pero mas mahirap, maging mahirap sa isang bansang mahirap.
Ikaw ay nakikinig kay Coach Miranda Miner sa Daily Crypto Live.
So mamili ka, mahirap ang crypto? Yung hirap na yon o yung mahirap maging mahirap sa isang bansang mahirap? Mamili ka. You have a choice. Ngayon, well, konting perspective, konting context. Mahirap ang crypto, hindi ko sinasabing i-all-in mo na you give up your regular life. Crypto can be there slowly, piece by piece, get to learn and master yourself. At tandaan mo lagi, ang pinakahuling panabla natin, mahirap maging mahirap sa isang bansang mahirap, napakamahal pong magkasakit.
Ikaw ay nakikinig kay Coach Miranda Miner sa Daily Crypto Live.
Nakakatuwa tong live natin. Kanina pa ako salita, parami nanonood. Hindi umaalis yung mga nanonood. Dito ko nakapatunayan, mas minsan, ang gusto ninyo, real talk. Diba? Real talk. Bahala na sinong guest mo para marinig ka lang namin magpayo. Okay na kami, buo na kami. Nabuo mo na kami ulit, Coach Miranda. Laban ulit. At sana this time, matuto na at ilaban na ang mga pangarap. Diba? Okay lang. Naranasan nyo ba yung from 64 down to 52? From 52 down to 45? From 45 down to 27? From 27 down to 15? Actually, may mga nawalan nga ng buhay dyan eh. Yung downfall na yan, Luna. Kaya huwag yung mamaniin ng crypto. Hindi to para sa lahat. Hindi para sa lahat to. Diba? Ay, nako. Kung ako lang kuya nyo at nandiyan ako sa bahay nyo, siguro ang dami na pong pitik na nakuha nyo from Coach Miranda. Dami ng pitik. Mas maganda ang payo mo sa dami ng pinagdaanan mo. Maraming pong salamat. Maraming salamat. No? Maraming salamat. At yeah. Ay, nako. Anyways, sige, batiin ko lang kayo. 2020 daw, si Kuya Ariel. Maraming salamat. Oh, tama, alala ko yan. Solid ang wisdom. Maraming pong salamat. 5 years in crypto is still learning. Sabi ni John Trader. Going Merry 15,400. Kayo ang spark plug namin. Ganda naman pakinggan nito. Teka lang, pipicturean ko to. Wait lang. Yung konting forma na poging bagong ahit natin. Ito pala. Oh, di ba? Screenshotan natin. Ito na comment mo no? Present, Kuya Bernie, real talk, thank you. Ayan. Batiin ko na lang kayo ha, or highlight ko yung pangalan niya. 15K, Sachi of course. Maraming salamat. O si Kuya, kailangan ko yung ganyang pakiramdam. Madami talaga, Coach. Kaya hindi magmahal sa mga bags, mag-TP kung kinakailangan. Hindi ko nga pinapasin yung pasyente dito. Oh! Salamat! Ay, iyo nga ni. Ay, iyo nga ni. Mabataon. Oo, iyo nga ni, kuya. Dahil hindi arang bigsabog ito uulay ng ating duwa. Pares naman tayo, no? Maligahakan, pag-iinom ng tubig, di ba? So, kaya ko, kaya nyo. Di ba? Kusugan ninyo yung loob, di kayo masupog, ha? Taas ka mo ng kamot nindo, ifuga ka mo mga tanong. Ganun lang yan. Bicolano po yung Bicolano, ha? Bicol. Okay. All right, maraming salamat. Uy, maganda sabi niya. A catapult can't launch forward without tension, pressure, and serious pullback. The deeper the pullback, the greater the force when it... Parang, teka lang. Kuya, parang iba yung naiisip natin dito. May pressure. Ha? Kuya Anthony, kamusta na dyan? Ha? Tawa ko lang kita. Recharging station ka dito, coach. Napuno ulit. Positibong. Ay, maraming salamat. Thank you. Good evening dyan sa Kala. Oh, yes, I promise. Ganda ng comment. Picturean ko ulit. Picturean natin. Dito lang si coach. Yes. Picturean tayo. Picturean natin. Ganda ng comment mo eh. Ha? Okay. Ano ba yan? Anong comment mo? Picture natin. Laban lang. Yes, journal. Yun. Meron, antayin po ninyo. Ang saya pa, nakaraang mga buwan na bawi lang kaya maraming nasasaktan ngayon. Totoo yan. Pero, alam mo ba, baka naman hinahanda ka lang ng market sa mas magandang hinaharap. Itanong mo to sa mga nakaranas ng 15-16. Hindi ko pinapaganda yung mindset ha. Kasi hindi naman tayo nang ha-hype. Diba? Alright, maraming salamat. Ay, Mabalos Tabi, salamat po. Iyo nga ni, ayun nga. Ha? Alright, sige na, alas 10 na, nabanggihin na. Alright, mata na ka mo sa amay, sa agay, weekend, no? Di ko alam pagigibunin doon ng weekend, magdalagan ka mo, or exercise, or I don't know, but whatever you do this weekend, you're not alone. Pare-pares tayo may chart na 82 ang Bitcoin. What can define you is if you know, how do you process yourself, no, on these types of market. Huwag niyo pong babayaan na hindi nyo kino-close yung mga open loops na yan at mapapagod lang kayo. No, the open loops need to be closed. On that note, marami pong salamat. Of course, thank you to Roxom for that awesome interview. And if you learned something, kahit hindi sa trading, kahit sa medyo sa personal na buhay, pangpadagdag, pampapuno ulit ng the-drain ninyong trading cup, no? Punta lang kayo lagi, balik kayo dito. Ako bahala, mag-remind, mag-encourage, at magturo ka, Miranda. Remember, success is a lousy teacher. But this market is one of the greatest teachers. Sabi nga nila, the greatest ships are the ones who are able to withstand the rough seas. Maraming salamat kay Miranda at isang magandang gabi ulit. Happy Friday at Shalom. Salamat po.
Subscribe, like, follow, and share. Sige na please, Ka Miranda.